I let the cat come outside because it's nice, but I'm terrified he's gonna like leap to his death. He's gonna be like, screw you! And I'm gonna be like, no, cat, no! But he seems to be enjoying himself, so let's... Ooh, what? What's that? What? Anyways, let's get to the serious stuff, shall we? Yes.
Good afternoon and salutations. I know it's been a while since episode 1, but I am back at it with another quick review, probably not quick, but with another review of a comic book that I am actually growing really fond of, and I hope you guys do too. So if you remember in my previous video, I was talking about how I was going to review a comic book that has been around for some time, but has just recently gotten a new face, and that comic happens to be Archie. Now the Archie comics, like I said, have been around for some time. I don't actually remember when. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere within the 1940s. If not, I'll probably put that on the screen somewhere just to clarify. But it's been around for a while, and what the Archie comics usually did was follow the main character, Archie Andrews, throughout his typical day throughout Riverdale. And the rebooted comics don't stray too far from that particular idea. So this Archie revamp is written by Mark Waid. The art is by Fiona Staples, and the coloring is by, give me a second, hold on. Andre Zamanowick. Andre Zamanowick is what I'm going with. And Jen Vaughn. And then the lettering is by Jack Morelli. Currently, I don't know, I think they're doing a really good job. So I'm going to break it down like I did with the last episode. We're going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about the characters. And we're going to talk about the art. Not necessarily in that particular order. So as for the story of this particular issue, it's really just kind of an introduction. We open up with Archie Andrews breaking the fourth wall and kind of introducing his neighborhood and his world to us. I can't exactly remember what they were preparing for. I believe it was like a school dance. I don't know if it was like prom, St. Hawkins, whatever. But they're preparing for this school dance, and Archie is talking about how, I don't really want to go because he had just recently broken up with his girlfriend Betty Cooper, and the only thing that he will tell us about it though is that it is the lipstick incident that they will never speak of. So that kind of grabbed my attention. I'm kind of thinking, what is this lipstick incident? What has this boy done? Because lipstick incident, men stereotyping. I mean, maybe Archie's not like that, but I can't help but have my mind head in that particular direction.
Spoilers.
So after we get the rundown from Archie, we find out that the entire school, and I mean the entire school, is straight up bummed that Archie and Betty are no longer together. So they kind of hatch this plan to try and get them back together. And what they do is, again,
spoilers.
I'm going to pause right there. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen on, or do. It's whatever. I mean, it's still a good issue. Anyways, what they do is they kind of hatch this plan to get Betty and Archie to become king and queen together, and they ask Jughead, Archie's best friend, to join in on it. And at first Jughead's like, I don't really know, and we don't actually really get his opinion until we get later in the story. So as the story is progressing, Archie is winding up not going to the dance, but it turns out that the band that has been hired because it's high school band, so I don't even know if they get paid, but the band that gets hired to play at the dance loses their guitarist, and I didn't know this, so this is new information to me, but Archie can rock out on the guitar. I mean, from the pictures that I saw, he was just He was killing it, and everybody loved it. So he did wind up going to the dance, and from what I could tell, it looked like he had a pretty good time. And that's really where the story kind of leaves off and starts going into issue 2. So now I'd like to just do a quick breakdown of the characters. If you're watching this and you have an older viewer, you probably already know about Archie, or if you're a comic book reader who isn't really into a lot of the superhero comics that I'm into, you might already know about all these characters. But for those newbies like myself or other people who are just trying to get into comic books, this is for you. So like I've said several times before, the first character I'm going to talk about is Archie Andrews. Archie Andrews is our main character, our protagonist of this particular series. He's that quirky kid who's got fiery red hair. He's a little goofy, but you can definitely tell that he cares about his friends. In this issue, you can see how, you can kind of see the type of person he is as he works through his, this weird in-between ground from when he broke up with, or not necessarily he, but when his girlfriend and him broke up, and how they're still trying to be friends. But I mean, if you live in the real world and you shouldn't be friends with your ex, is like, I don't even know. It's hard, basically. It's like trying to walk through quicksand and really the only thing you are wearing are like a pair of Chucks and goggles. Like, it's hard. But you can really tell that he still kind of cares about her. So that's kind of an interesting personality development that I like about Archie. So the next character I want to talk about is Jughead. Jughead Jones is one of Archie's best friends. Jughead's actual name is, and you have to forgive me because I have to read it because holy crap. Jughead's actual name is Forsyth Pendleton Jones III. If that ain't fancy, I don't know what is. I don't know if it's in this issue, so there might be a little bit of spoilers, but we get a little bit of a background story on Jughead, which I didn't even know about, and it's kind of interesting. He's got that fancy kind of rich person sounding name because he was at one point in time a rich kid, but then something happened with his family and they lost all their money, and now he's kind of just like a chilled, laid-back guy. Doesn't really care about much except his best friend and food. Throughout this issue, it looks as if he is really all about getting Betty and Archie back together, but towards the end, you kind of see him sabotage that, and I don't even actually know what to say about it. I don't know if it's because, he's being selfish and he wants his friend all to himself, or if he's being like, cheer up, Charlie, there are other fish in the sea.
When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
You do not have to be with that particular person. I don't really know. At least I can't tell it in this issue, and I think we're about maybe 5 or 6 issues in, so I really still can't tell. All in all, Jughead is actually a pretty unique character. I like him. I think he's probably one of my favorite ones so far. Next character I'd like to talk about is Betty Cooper. There's really not a lot to say about Betty Cooper. She is the ex-girlfriend to our lovable pal, Archie Andrews. She's a little bit of a tomboy. When we see her doing a lot of sportsy things. She doesn't dress like a lot of the other girl characters in this particular issue. She's actually a girl after my own heart. She will rock a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and just go about her day. That is what I'm talking about. She seems pretty nice. She seems pretty chill. And again, kind of that same situation that I talked about with Archie. They're in that weird in-between of being friends and being no longer together. You can really tell that she still cares about him though, but maybe not on the level that they were at one point. What actually happens between them is ridiculous. I'm kind of upset that they broke up, but that's for a different issue entirely. Last character that needs to be introduced is Veronica Lodge. Veronica Lodge is the new girl in town. She has moved to Riverdale. We haven't necessarily met her just yet, but I wanted to go ahead and introduce all the characters in the first issue anyways. It's kind of interesting how Veronica and Archie meet. It kind of happens off screen, and when I say off screen, I mean not in the books, which is something that I'm actually not used to seeing, so that's kind of a cool aspect that they happen to do within this issue. Anyways, Veronica Lodge is your stereotypical rich girl. She, you know, drives a limo to school, wears like all of the name brand stuff, is just way up there. Kind of obnoxious, but as the series progresses, you can kind of tell that there's actually more to her than you would think, which I think is kind of interesting. Although in the first issue that we meet her, that poor girl. Poor girl. So one thing that really caught my attention with this particular comic book was the artwork. When I found out that Archie was doing a revamp, I wasn't really all that interested, but then I brought it up on thingsfromanotherworld.com and I like skimmed through it and I saw the artwork that was going with this bad boy and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. I don't know, I think that I like the fact that it was like really modern. The characters looked like what characters would look like, what high schoolers would look like in 2015, 2016. I really like the shading and the lighting and the use of color and how everything just seemed to work really well together. And that's one thing that kind of draws my attention to comics. Not only does it have to have a really good story, or at least a story that I can follow and really enjoy, but I need that artwork to be on point. And I really think that they did a fantastic job with that.
So I know what you're thinking, Stephanie, you're wearing a different shirt and I'm pretty sure you're standing up. Well, you are correct. I wanted to say a few more things before I wrap this video up. One, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Two, go ahead and subscribe. I'll always get good content out to you when I can. And three, if you have any suggestions, maybe a comic book to read or even just a book in general, go ahead and drop those titles in the comments below. And the next review that will be coming up is another brand new one that I recently picked up that I am really starting to enjoy. It is joining the rest of the Gotham City world, and I think you guys will like it too. I'm out, enjoy your day, and for the love of all that is good and righteous, read some comic books.